Ladies and gentlemen, there is a question that I've been asking on this platform. I think I have a bit of an answer, but not fully. Who did Raila Odinga meet in Dubai? Because we all know that last week, Raila Odinga went to Dubai. And Raila Odinga was accompanied by his two closest political allies, Junet Mohammed and Ali Hassan Joho. And Raila Odinga told the entire country that he was going to Dubai on a brief mission. But who did he meet in Dubai? Because when Raila Odinga returned back into the country, the first person who knocked on his gate was none other than Meg Whitman, the US Ambassador to Kenya. That was the first time the US Ambassador to Kenya was meeting with Raila Odinga after their nasty exchange in Eldoret. But who did Raila Odinga meet in Dubai? Kimani Ichung'wah posted something. Let me just read for you what Kimani Ichung'wah posted sometimes back. The Dubai trip was a poison chalice for the old man. He connected with the very guys who promised him the presidency but delivered hot air. He is now speaking with vengeance and disillusionment. In short, Kimani Ichung'wah is alleging in this post that Raila Odinga went to Dubai and met with Uhuru Kenyatta. My sources have also confirmed to me that when Raila Odinga was in Dubai, he indeed met with Uhuru Kenyatta. But there must have been someone also in this particular meeting. Who is that person? Because yesterday, Uhuru Kenyatta also returned to the country just the other day. But the first person who also knocked on Uhuru Kenyatta's door was the US Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, Ambassador Meg Whitman. In this video, I want us to figure out the details of Uhuru Kenyatta's meeting with the US Special Envoy. Because Uhuru Kenyatta also later on met with the former Prime Minister for Mali. Let me just read for you what Uhuru Kenyatta posted after the meeting there. This is what Uhuru Kenyatta posted. His office. His Excellency President retired Uhuru Kenyatta held separate meetings today with former Malian Prime Minister Moussa and the US Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, Ambassador Meg Whitman, who paid him a courtesy visit at his residence. Former Prime Minister Mara, widely recognized, I want you to listen to that. Former Prime Minister Mara, widely recognized for his notable contribution to the governance of Mali, and Ambassador Whitman, who represent the United States diplomatic endeavors in the Horn of Africa, both participated in meaningful discussions with the former head of state. They underscored the importance of bilateral and multilateral cooperation in tackling regional challenges and advancing shared objectives. That's what the president team officially posted about that particular meeting. But we all know that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. And that everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve a specific political objective. Nothing in politics just happens out of mere coincidence. There is no way Raila Odinga would go to Dubai, meet whoever he met, comes back into the country. The first person who knocks on his door is the US Ambassador to Kenya. Then Uhuru Kenyatta also comes back into the country after some time out of the country. Then the first person to knock on his door is the US Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa. It can't just be coincidence. The question is, who did Raila and Uhuru met in Dubai? Maybe with the time, because I know truth has a way of finding its way. With the time, we will be able to know that. So in this video, I want us to do that critical analysis. Before we do it, in case you're watching the channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, William Ruto met with the delegation or leaders from Kiambu County. On this platform, I did a critical analysis why Rigathi Gachagua was actually locked out of that particular meeting. And today on Twitter, Moses Kuria is trending. Moses Kuria is trending because Kenyans are asking why Ruto would meet with Kiambu leaders minus the only cabinet secretary from the region. And that if it were in Elgeyo Marakwet, they are asking as if that meeting was about leaders from Elgeyo Marakwet. Do you think Kipchumba Murkomen would be out of the picture? Maybe that's something we need to figure out shortly after this video. But for this video, let us focus very briefly on the objectives of the meeting between the president and the US Special Envoy for Africa and the former Prime Minister for Mali. What do you think were the objectives? Number one, in my view, is Raila Odinga's candidature for the African Union Commission chairmanship. The truth of the matter is that Raila Odinga is keenly pursuing his bid of becoming the next chair of the African Union Commission. And Raila Odinga team has crafted an elaborate campaign strategy. That campaign strategy involves former presidents. Uhuru Kenyatta is in charge of that. It involves the current presidents. William Ruto is involved with that. That campaign also includes highly respected diplomats. And I think it's led by some Kenyan ambassador, two of them, and they are crafting a team. And of course, Raila Odinga and his personal relationship with the other heads of state, because Raila Odinga actually knows most of these heads of states by their first name. And most of the heads of states actually knows Raila Odinga by his name. So in my view, the meeting was about Raila Odinga's bid. I'm saying that because the reason, if you listen to what I read for you, about how the president discussed, how the president described the Mali prime minister, he's saying the former prime minister Mara, widely recognized for his notable contribution to the governance of Mali. So which means he's highly respected, he's highly regarded. So I want to think that this former prime minister of Mali came and met with Uhuru, and the discussion is about Raila Odinga. Because there's always been one fear that the Islamic countries, which mostly West Africa, might not be comfortable with Raila Odinga. Of course, it could be propaganda that they want the Somali lady, which is also not true. And of course, there's also the story that the US government are trying to front the Djibouti candidate. So the truth is, and I'm 100% certain that this meeting was about Raila Odinga's bid. Number two, in my view, I think it's also about Uhuru Kenyatta's role in Africa. Now, let me just take you to Uhuru Kenyatta's Twitter handle. How they are describing Uhuru Kenyatta in that Twitter handle. His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, CGH, 4th President of the Republic of Kenya, Africa Union Kenya Peace Envoy, and facilitator of the East Africa-led Nairobi peace process, which means Uhuru Kenyatta is playing a critical role as a peace facilitator in Africa. And the presence of the US Envoy simply confirms that there is need for Uhuru Kenyatta to continue with that role and probably add a more role. Because if you remember, just the other day, the Africa Union actually appointed Uhuru Kenyatta to lead a delegation of election observers to South Africa. And of course, you all know that's a very important role. So Uhuru Kenyatta is being recognized as someone who is supposed to be playing some critical role in Africa. And the US, the presence of the US Special Envoy for Africa meeting with Uhuru Kenyatta simply confirms that Uhuru Kenyatta is at the center of Africa politics. And number three, probably, it's also about the US specific interest in Africa. What is the United States of America's interest in Africa? Their interest currently is to kick China out. If you look at West Africa, where the former Mali prime minister comes from, and of course the way they described him, that is recognized for his democratic credentials. You see, China, when China comes to a place, democracy, they are not bothered about internal affairs of any country, democracy or what. For them, they are normally just interested in their interest. For the US, when they come to a place, they also try so hard to impose what they call democracy. And they'll always try to align themselves with democratic individuals. And that's where I'm seeing the former Prime Minister for Mali, and Uhuru Kenyatta, and the US Envoy. As much as Uhuru Kenyatta met them separately, I want to assume that while Uhuru was meeting with the US Special Envoy, the other gentleman was just somewhere. So it's about their specific interest. And of course, there's also the push by the US government to try and propel William Ruto as the face of Africa. Because you remember, William Ruto is actually their project. So they want Ruto to be the main guy as far as Africa politics is concerned. And that's why Ruto was invited and will be hosted state visit by Joe Biden. The truth is, they don't want Ruto to fail. And one of the things they are trying to do behind the back door is to try and reconcile Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. And that can explain why when Raila Odinga came after meeting with Uhuru Kenyatta, the US ambassador went straight and met with the Raila Odinga. When Uhuru Kenyatta came back into the country, the US Special Envoy for Africa went and met with Uhuru Kenyatta. If you ask me, there's high-scale discussions about Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto, and Raila Amolo Odinga. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.